You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show.
Is this the right one, Steven?
Yeah.
This is one by RuPaul, though. I don't think this was the right one. Oh, yeah, it is the right one. There you go.
He just called you out.
Sorry, I apologize.
Steve knows RuPaul's Drag Race really well.
And the guy, I was watching the video earlier too, and the guy was from that YouTube video where he was twerking in the kitchen, and you know, he's famous for his butt. That guy. If you can
I
see
like
it at
that she
home.
drops Daenerys Targaryen in the song.
Yes, I noticed that too.
I love that.
I noticed
love
that too. If you didn't catch on to what we were watching RuPaul's video for Geronimo, which was a part of the mini challenge in last night's episode, which was episode 10. It was called Drag My Wedding. And welcome. I'm your host, Kenny Harrison. Joining me tonight, next to me is the transfixed. Is that right? Transfixed?
Yeah, Cameron can't stop watching. There's a lot of twerking happening and a lot of drool.
He's a butt guy. If we're on the wide shot, maybe can see it on the screen here.
Holy shite.
That's Cameron, guys. Across from me is the blushing bride-to-be.
I'm Jacque Borowski.
Jacque
I'm getting
Borowski.
married to drag.
You're already married to drag.
That is true.
In the booth? In the booth? Oh, go on. Sorry.
Can I just say that my look
Over here,
is
over here.
my look is Miss Havisham realness.
Miss Havisham.
All right. In the booth, we have our
resident engineer.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Steve.
It's Steven.
what's going on? Ready for some RuPaul's tonight?
Yeah, Cam can't.
Is it way too distracting for you, Cameron?
He can't focus, and I don't understand why. But
Do you want me to just mute it and then it'll just stay on the TV? For you?
No,
because he
Cam
won't
will
pay
not
attention.
pay.
He doesn't talk.
Cam is gone.
He
We love
doesn't
Cam.
talk anyway, so we can just push him out of the way, out of my shot. And we're Tony-less tonight. Tony's in South Carolina, back visiting the plantation where he grew up on.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Okay, hold
Just
up.
kidding.
Kenny can only say that because he's from the same plantation. They're
Yes.
they're both from SC.
We're both from South Carolina, so he's probably on my plantation.
Wait, so is Steve?
Steve who?
I'm from North
the
Carolina.
booth.
I'm a little
he's
bit.
from
I'm a
North
little
Carolina.
bit.
He
A little
doesn't-
bit above you guys.
He's above us.
What a
So,
supremacist.
anyway.
Looking down on
My
the
veil
people.
used to have penises on it because the only cheap veils that they sell at Oz have penises on them, so I had to remove them to be AfterBuzz appropriate.
Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to myself right now.
Okay.
That's where you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys would like to know. There you go. You guys
can
want to do an
find
early
me-
shout out?
You guys can find me on Twitter, tweeting while I cut penises out of my veil.
Yeah, but where are you tweeting from?
Oh, at 123 Jackie_B.
And you want to give a shout out already, early?
Tomakava 777 hashtag fat prick.
Damn it! You stole my hashtag.
So as we were
Welcome to the show, Steve. Love it.
as we were saying last week
As we
before
were.
we were cut off abruptly, I just wanted to mention that I know this is a new episode, but I wanted to say how out of all the exits we've had on the show, I thought Trinity's exit last week was by far the
It was
classiest
very classy.
and the most gracious.
Yes.
You know, I think she was genuinely happy for Adore, and she was just happy to be on the show.
I think, I mean, and granted, this might be because Trinity gave such a classy exit before, but I thought Jocelyn's exit was really classy as well.
Exactly. But I wanted to throw that one in there because,
Yeah,
you know, we
it was
started
really
the episode
good. There was
after.
no weeping or...
No. And it wasn't like a depressing, you know, sad face. She was very happy.
Because you kind of feel I guess you could. How do I say this?
I don't know.
It seemed like she had learned something and had grown, genuinely.
Yes.
She took something away from the show that was positive for her development in whatever capacity.
Right. And I think that was, her farewell speech and, just her leaving was just very gracious, and I appreciate that. So that's what I wanted to say last week, but we didn't get there.
Yeah, we only had 20 minutes.
Yeah. So this week we start off.
That's a lie.
Well, it's okay. So 2 weeks ago we had. Oh, we're getting played off again. So that's all for our show tonight. Thanks for watching. No, if you're watching us live tonight, thank you for watching. Call us, because apparently you can. I was told that we couldn't earlier.
No, you can.
Okay, well, we can.
Yeah.
424-256-1729.
There you go.
You sound like the guy, Sir Richard Wentworth.
Almost.
Do I?
A little bit. If you're watching us on YouTube, make your comments down there. I have my penis in my hand right now, but you can make a comment
Your
down there.
penis is much bigger than that.
Oh.
I assume.
Don't
Well, you
get
pulled it out of your veil earlier.
I don't know what's happening.
What
I should
is happening?
stop. I should stop talking.
Well, we can get married later, Jackie.
Yay!
YouTube, make your comments. iTunes, do the same thing. So, episode 10, we're almost there, guys.
I know.
We got 6. We're down. Well,
We're down to 5
We're down
after
to 5
this.
after tonight. Last night's episode was it was interesting for me. I thought it was, again, once I saw a door in the bottom 2, I knew she wasn't going home, so I knew who the other person was going to go home, according to the spoiler for the after. What's the after show? I forget the name of it.
Untucked.
Untucked, yes. Again, another thing for me was the. I think I'm just gonna talk. I'm not gonna let either one of you talk the rest of the time.
Oh, well, I mean, did the episode feel short to you? It felt short to me. I know
No.
it wasn't long, but it felt short.
I didn't think it felt short. I felt it was long because of the middle part of them actually getting married, and I actually liked that.
Oh, I did like
but
that.
I do think, again, this is one of those challenges that was a recycled challenge from something we've seen already with the makeover.
Yes. I like makeover challenges, though.
I like them in the beginning. Now it's become, and I think Courtney said it. She's like, "Oh, I'm putting two and two together. This is the makeover challenge." So you're getting the makeover challenge. You're getting the musical challenge. You're getting these recycled challenges, and it's kind of
But they might have thought they were making over the women.
Which they did. They ended up having to make over the grooms instead, which was a nice little twist.
Yeah.
Speaking of a nice little twist, we have a caller on the line for the...
See?
Hi.
And you shall receive.
Hello, caller.
Hey,
Hey.
Hi.
Who are we talking to?
this is Bryce Lee from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Hi, Bryce.
Bryce. Let me mention that
Hi.
Bryce is one of our biggest commenters
Which we love.
on YouTube and on Twitter. Hi, Bryce.
I'm watching you guys live right now, so I don't know if there's like a delay or anything.
Yeah,
So what are you
turn off your
talking about?
stream. Turn off your stream while you're on the phone with us, please.
I did.
And remind us where you're calling from.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Wow.
Nice.
So you're up late, huh, Bryce?
Yes, I love you guys that much.
Oh. And we love you
getting up
too.
sleep.
So what did you think about tonight's episode or last night's episode?
I liked it. I felt it was a bit. I felt the vow exchange went on a little bit too long, and I would have rather had more time
Agreed.
seeing them interact with their the guys they were working with, because I felt like that part was cut short, whereas in previous seasons it seemed like they had a longer time with their people.
Completely agree.
I agree,
Maybe
but
that's why it felt short to me.
I felt like I actually liked the whole ceremony. It was a little different, and it was like...
I did like that there was a ceremony, but then you don't get the sense of the actual people. So you're watching these guys and these girls, and you don't really get a sense of the
Who they
history
are.
or the connection or who they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a classic example of why I think it would be better, instead of having RuPaul's Drag Race and Untucked separately, that you have Untucked inserted before they do the lip sync, because I felt like in Untucked you actually got to see the interaction between the queens and the guys they were making over, and this was one of the times I'm like, I wish I had saw that first before I had actually saw the main stage portion.
I actually have to agree with you.
Completely agree.
Because particularly Jocelyn's makeover guy, Brandon, during the actual episode, we'll get to that later. I know in the actual episode, he sang disconnected.
Yes.
And just not with it, none of the actual episode. And then Untucked, or towards the end where they were showing Jocelyn's leaving, you got a sense that something actually happened or something clicked backstage that we didn't get to see during the episode. And then you had to watch Untucked. And so I'm totally agreeing with you on that one.
Untucked
Yeah,
gave
he
it a more
completely
organic
Willemed
feeling.
all over the stage. I was like, oh no, this is like flashback to season 4.
Oh yeah.
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
We're here, Bryce. We're here. 'Cause I thought about that too. I was like, oh, I didn't even wrote it down. Willem, another Willem. That was great. So anything else? Who are you rooting for, by the way? I know you probably listed your top 10 or your top 5 or top 3
Repeatedly,
We
we keep
have.
changing them.
But
We keep changing them.
Who do you foresee winning the crown? Give it to us right now.
I think Bianca will win. At this point, she has to like royally just mess up.
Right.
And it would be so ironic if the one thing she was horrible at was lip syncing, because that's the one thing we haven't
Seen
seen her
yeah.
do.
Right. I agree.
But
agree.
have you guys noticed that they are doing a lot of the challenges that they would normally do for 5 queens or 4 queens with like 6 and 5? Because I feel like that the little ball thing that they have each year only has 4 people, and it's going to have 5.
I'm
this
so
time.
glad you brought that up, because I have been taking notice too. Usually when Snatch Game happens, there's only about 8 queens, and I think they did it with 9 or 10 this time. And the ball next week, it's going to be 5. And since there are only 14 episodes this season, we are already in episode 10, and usually one episode is a retrospect, so that leaves 3 more episodes of competition. And usually the last episode is going to carry over into the finals, to the announcement. So I only think there's only going to be 1 more elimination, unless they do a double elimination next week.
Lord, I
Someone
hope
told me
so.
there
So-
might be a top 4.
So
That was a rumor that there was a top 4.
So, hey,
Or
Bryce,
to
we're
split
here.
the diff, I think they might do where in that final episode when they generally do the music video, I think at the end of the episode they might eliminate
One
one
person.
and
That's
then
it.
have just the 3 queens left over for
Makes
everyone
sense.
to kind of vote on for the final.
That's fair. And I know we're getting ahead of, to the final, but I want them to have a first runner-up and second runner-up. I don't want this. There are 3
Yes!
queens and 1 winner. I wanted Fifi to be the last one. I didn't want her to win.
You're so
I wanted her to
bitter
be
about
second.
that.
Second. I know. Sorry, just a program note. Anyway. Bryce, thank you so much for
Thank you
calling.
so much.
Where can we find you? I know we know how to find you, but where can the World of Drag Race After Show find you?
I'm gonna steal Tony's shtick. I am Call Me Bryce Lee on all platforms. So.
Just don't say
Nice.
scruff and
Let
grinder.
me say something before Bryce leaves. I wanted to say that we appreciate that you also were willing to speak about the topic
Yes.
that has been so
Yes.
hot on the market, and I think that's a great. The best thing about this whole situation is that conversation has been started.
Yes.
Whether you agree, disagree, or not makes no difference. As long as the conversation is happening, that means that nobody's sweeping it under the rug, and that's the important part for me.
Yes.
I don't care if you don't agree with me. I don't give
There's
a-
a lot of really thoughtful conversation too.
And we're talking about
Yes,
the
it was.
Gmail
I enjoyed
controversy.
it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Real
it's
quick.
not done.
What was your stance
not
on
letting
that?
him
What was your
leave.
stance on that, Bryce? Before you go.
Actually, the more sides of it I see, I must say I'm in the middle of it, because I was listening to a podcast not long ago, and the 2 guys that do the podcast, they were upset with RuPaul, not so much for using the word, but using the word and then kind of backing down and not owning it. So there are so many different little individual arguments that, like Cameron said, the more we talk about it, the more it's putting it out there, and just be respectful on both sides, basically.
That's one way of
I
putting
agree.
it.
I agree.
Again, thank you, Bryce, for calling us. Call us anytime. Call us next week. And I know you're going to leave your comments on Instagram and hit us up on Twitter.
Bye.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thanks, Bryce.
So, well, no bye? Okay.
That's okay.
I hung up.
Okay. Real quick, John Fitzpatrick made a comment on YouTube with the whole she-male thing, and he said that he always thought that tranny meant
I agree with
transvestite,
that.
which is a very valid point.
That's okay. Cam is making, for those of you on iTunes, Cam is making angry scrunch face.
No.
So he clearly does not agree with this, but I did think that. I thought tranny meant transvestite.
I didn't think that, but when I read his comment, I see where it can make sense. And I even went and Wikipedia the whole she-male tranny controversy, and one of the definitions that was given, I think through Wikipedia, was that she-male is considered, it is an adult film.
It's a category,
but it's also
genre.
It also can generally classify transvestites, transgender, transsexual, cross-dressers, and drag queens. So,
and I think the problem not to the community that watches Drag Race, but to the problem that if this was something said to a non-knowledgeable community, they would just conflate all those terms,
right? Which
I think is what people are worried about. But on the opposite side is that it's like you're giving this to an audience. This topic is arising to an audience that knows their terms.
Two things real quick, and then we can move on. I just want to throw out there that there are certain things like words like faggot or nigger or whatever that are used to basically put you down. It is designed to be derogatory. In this case, I think she-male was just a play on words. It wasn't meant, anything that they've done or said about the use of the word was not intended to be, first of all, geared to transsexuals or transgendered individuals. It was basically describing drag queens. With that said, I feel that those that are offended by it, I wonder if they've ever watched an episode of South Park or Family Guy and have, seen basically every ethnicity, every, thing imaginable that they've had on the show, they've made fun of it. And I wonder if they turned off their set and said, you know what, that's offensive to white people. That's offensive to Asians. I'm not going to watch this show. I wonder if those same people do that. So
I think, not to harp on this topic anymore.
We're gonna.
But I think, I know, we are. But when you watch something, and I was thinking about this too, because Kenny and I love South Park. We love South Park. We watch it so much. And South Park is hilarious to me because South Park, no one is safe. It makes fun of everyone. But I feel like, I guess the reaction, I understand the reaction now from people where they felt like this was a community where they were safe from certain things. And then they started to feel like they weren't safe from certain terminology because they're not going to use, like, Drag Race is not going to lampoon things that are outside the world of Drag Race, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's a campy show. I mean, we watch it for fun. Cameron's going to speak. By the way, we're matching tonight, and we did it without, like, any planning, right?
Dodgers.
I agree with what Bryce had mentioned about the other podcast. My thing with this whole situation is you can apologize. I'm just worried about the down the road effects of censorship and how sensitive we may become. And it may happen. I can't control that. I do believe that if you're going to say something like that, then you should take ownership. And if you offended somebody, intentional or not, you're still responsible for that. I accept that. I take ownership of when I offend somebody. And if I need to apologize, I will. For certain dynamics. But I think that's been part of the issue is for a lot of us, we didn't think it was meant to be offensive, but now that you're yanking it, okay, so was it? There's all kinds of questions that arise. So again, the biggest issue is there's now a conversation about it so people can become educated. And if you choose to offend somebody, then you take responsibility for that because now you know that it offends somebody else.
Guys, we still talking about tonight's episode?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
That is a topic from RuPaul's Drag Race.
When after the elimination, they come back into the workroom, the ooh girl was not there again. It is.
It's ooh girl.
They don't get she-male.
Ooh girl.
And to be perfectly honest, I never made the connection. I just thought it was funny, and it wasn't. It wasn't offensive.
The connection to me was a connection to America's Next Top Model.
And now for me,
made the connection.
It's so
Kenny and I are just stupid, apparently.
It's so noticeable, though. It's so noticeable now that it's not there. Yeah. I think it was before. It was just a part of the show. Anyway,
so abstract paintings with your body.
That was a mini challenge
with your body.
They got to the song that you heard earlier, Geronimo. I don't know if I said this already.
You did.
Please play it again.
You did.
No. Do not play that song again because we will lose Cameron for the rest of the night. RuPaul's first single off her new album from this season, Geronimo. So they got to do these abstract. And there it goes, Cameron.
Steve just doesn't want Cameron to speak.
Well, he doesn't speak anyway. He just makes faces. Now he's just gonna make smiley faces.
Smiley faces.
This challenge, again, I think me and Jackie, I think we agree on this. Is like, how do you pick a winner out of this mess? Okay,
yes.
Twerk of art. I get it. That was funny, and you know, we're this way. We're this way.
If you think of the making of like a Jackson Pollock, where the actual work part of it is factored into the end result, because if you just looked at a Jackson Pollock, you'd be like, that's a big old mess.
Right.
Sorry, I said that. Sorry, not sorry. But the part of appreciating a Pollock is appreciating the actual like work that went into it. So the funniest part for us is watching queens get all like wet and messy and rolling around on the ground, and Darian Lake was cracking me up.
Oh, she was the funniest for me.
She was cracking me up.
And I liked her when Rue was asking her what was her inspiration. She was like, "Oh, you're looking at it upside down." It was hilarious, and she's got those little quips. I love it.
Yeah.
Steven, you're wrong.
And it's on loop now. So, by the way, if you're watching this on iTunes, or if you're listening to us on iTunes,
Cam is turning red from watching this video.
I'm not ready for you. As Tony would say, get your life.
Get your life.
You know, he hasn't said that.
I know.
You better not say that because it's overplayed.
Anyway, I just thought about Kenya and Portia. I don't know why. So, mini challenge was fun.
I don't like it.
Yeah, but I agree. How do you pick a winner from this?
So Bianca won. We don't know how.
Arbitrarily.
Yeah,
because of her story.
Yeah. Which I didn't. Yeah, whatever. So she got to. So they went back to their workroom. I'm just doing a play-by-play now.
Hit it.
Workroom. They brought in 6 ladies that were getting married. I wonder. This is gonna be my little soapbox. Since this was a gay. Oh, it was a gay show, and we're geared to...
Wait, we're watching a gay show?
Yeah, it's pretty gay.
What?
It's pretty gay. I thought it would have been... As I was watching, I was like, I knew they were going to bring in guys to do makeovers, but I wonder if it would have changed the dynamic of the show had they brought in 2 guys. Like, if it was or a lesbian couple. And have Rue marry them on stage in front of... I don't know, hundreds of thousands of viewers. I don't know.
But I think the only thing contrary to that is it seems that the theme of a lot of these like Makeover the Guys episodes seems to be picking the burliest dudes you can. Not that, I mean, picking I shouldn't say burliest, straightest dudes you can.
Right.
Because there's a lot of burly gay men.
I do like the challenge. I can't remember if it was season 4 or season 5 where they had the older gay man on.
Yes.
And that too was a challenge
Yes.
to make over older men.
veterans.
The vet that fell asleep.
Yes.
Which was season 4 because was it at Sharon's or Fifi's?
No, it was 5. It was season 5 because it was Jinx's vet.
Jinx's vet. Okay, there you go. So I just thought to myself, what if you found 6 couples, and I'm sure they did an audition for this because who in their right mind would say, honey, let's go get married on RuPaul's Drag Race? Although Darian Lake's couple obviously had it planned out that they were going to do that on the show.
I thought it was cute that they were such huge fans
of the show.
They were such huge fans.
And Darian's drag daughter was serving it in Untucked.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Out of all the makeup jobs, I'm not talking about the dress or anything, but Darian's guy to me had the best makeup job.
I thought Courtney Axe was pretty good too.
It was okay, but like as far as like a real top notch, like you look like
I agree.
Yeah, like a girl.
Queen.
I agree.
Yeah, he had the best makeup job. And then the other thing to me was that I looked at him the first time I saw him in drag. I was like, I did a double take thinking that it was his wife, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Darian made him look just like his wife.
Ooh, that's not. I don't know if that's a compliment or.
I'm sure they love it.
I'm sure they did. So what I was going for was that Bianca got to pick the ladies to.
Oh yeah.
She assigned them, but in the end, it kind of didn't really matter.
No, didn't matter at all.
Because they weren't making over the ladies; they were making up over their husbands. Which again, Jackie said it. They brought out pretty much 6 of the manliest, dudes with beards.
Yes.
And so that's where the challenge really came in is, you know, making over, you know, these guys. And poor Jocelyn. She got...
Vomit.
Well, she got that. Steven, pay attention.
Cam's trying to exit the conversation.
Sorry, Cameron, you got to stay in the after show.
No, the other picture. The picture.
The other picture.
The picture.
Oh, one sec.
Wait, what's happening?
We
now?
discussed it earlier.
Keep talking, Kenny.
Oh, yes, the other picture.
She got a black guy, which I think for her, it's a hard thing to do.
Totally was not ready for that, guys.
So if
For
you
those
can't
of you
see
on
it,
iTunes.
Keep talking. We'll get to it. Keep talking.
For those, just explain to the iTunes listeners. There's a picture of the female.
I'm holding it.
A picture of the female gremlin. The female gremlin.
Bianca said it. Do you want to say this or do you,
On the screen.
So, Bianca and her side was like, you guys, you know, after I can't do it. I can't do it. I am so sorry. I really apologize because when we
Get it together, you guys.
No,
Come
you
on.
get it together.
We're professionals.
When Bianca said that, you know, he looks like that gremlin, the only female gremlin, and you don't want to throw water.
You know that one girl gremlin? The only girl gremlin was in the movie. And I fell out of my couch because
like, you don't wanna throw-
His makeup was jacked.
But in all fairness, he was a different skin tone, and
I fall for that.
and well,
No, Jocelyn just did not know how to paint his face
Yeah.
for his skin tone.
But here's the thing about that. Okay, on the main stage, he was white. It looked like he had
silver.
or whatever. But in other shots, when they were backstage and doing other things, he wasn't as white.
No, again.
White, silver, gray. I don't know what the hell that was, but
I think this again comes to the main stage lighting or not main stage lighting. You know.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Steven.
Yes.
You're my favorite now.
I mean, and then
Only
she
but
had
you
the
don't let
added.
us say the F word. Sorry. Go ahead.
She had the added problem of, and she did a very good job with this. I know it's hard when people are saying, okay, I'm afraid of this, and he was openly saying, I don't want to get made fun of. You know, I'm a basketball player, and that he was the only person really openly resisting the makeup.
It felt
And
uncomfortable.
Yes.
Hey, okay. On top of that, the producers on the show, they try really hard. This whole topic about gay athletes in professional sports, and I think this was one of the reasons why they cast this guy to be on a show to shed some light. Because when they were right before they went into the main challenge, it's hot in here.
It is hot in here.
When they went to the main challenge, he was talking about being in a locker room and being naked, and he'd rather guys be open and honest. And I'm thinking to myself, and I see where Courtney was trying to, where she was coming from, but she didn't articulate. What difference does it make? I mean, seriously, I think it would be easier if you didn't know if a guy was gay and he was in a locker room. Most guys,
Somebody's gonna comment about that.
please do. Most gay guys in the locker room don't necessarily check out other guys, and I feel as though, to be perfectly honest, I think straight men do more checking out because it's about comparison. I could be wrong.
And insecurity.
And I think people in general are curious about what other people look like without any clothes on.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there are going to be some gay guys in the locker room checking you out. I'm okay with it because you know what? If you're not cute enough and I'm not attracted, keep looking because you're not going to get it.
Well, that's the thing is there's this weird
Steven walking around the studio. No, I'm just.
No, Steve's not weird.
Trying to show us his package.
Oh Lord.
By the way, the conversation. Go ahead.
There's this weird perception. There's this weird perception by some straight men that it's like if you're in a place with a lot of gay men, all of a sudden A, you're going to be hit on, or B, you're going to be touched or grabbed at or whatever. And it's like, more often than not, a gay man is going to be way more respectful of the space, your situation, whatever, than a straight man would be with a straight woman.
Right.
I'm going to speak on this as the only straight guy in this studio at the moment.
Wait,
You
what?
have to prove that. Prove it. What makes you straight?
I am offended.
I know too.
I am offended, guys. We need to have a conversation on that. No. I think
you were she,
I think
Neil.
I think that's true to a point. I think there's some people who do expect that. Like they're like, oh God, there's gay people around, they're gonna hit on me. But I think that's just because there are straight men out there who don't understand, like, that a compliment is not being hit on. Does that make sense? Because like if I go to West Hollywood or something, to a bar or something like that, and I'm with friends or whatever, I will be complimented by many gay men, but like I don't take that as hitting on. Like, does that make sense to you guys?
Because and it's, I've explained it to a lot of people, because it's like people. Gay men know the difference. They know you're not gay. They don't want to waste their time with you.
Some gay men kind of want to test the waters just to see.
Yeah, it depends on.
They like a challenge.
Or they just want to see how far they can go.
Well, no.
And for me, I personally don't like when I'm being touched. If I'm going to a bar or you want to like. I hate that. It's like. Never mind the whole gay straight thing. It's about personal space.
Yes.
Don't I'm sorry. Don't touch me. Sorry.
You've already said the F and the N word on this podcast.
So the thing is, if you see Steve at a bar, in West Hollywood, compliment him. If you see Kenny at a bar in West Hollywood, don't touch him. If you see Cam at a bar in West Hollywood, twerk in his face.
What you will find sometimes, whether gay or straight, on the receiving end, is you do have some gay men that it's not so much the challenge, it's the antagonistic part. If they feel you're uncomfortable, they kind of take it and they run with it. They want to see how far they can push your buttons and push you out of your comfort zone while you're in their territory. And I think it's like a reverse,
double standard
discrimination. It's a reverse sense of discrimination. We're gonna push. Thank you, Steve. But I think that the hard part for the straight man who's on the receiving end of compliments where they feel uncomfortable is because they're not necessarily in the know. They don't have enough experience in the gay community. Number one, to realize that gay men have seen enough dick and ass that yours is nothing new. It's nothing special. We're so almost now desensitized to it that we're not trying to look. And most of us,
the older we get,
most of us don't want to shite where we eat. You know what I'm talking about? If that's our job or that's our hobby, or we're not trying to mess up that dynamic. So, but I get why he was uncomfortable. It just seemed really uncomfortable for the show. Like you knew you were coming on to dress like a chick.
I want to throw in this too, and
I'm talking with my hands.
And I know Bryce is an African. Black. He's black.
Bryce is in Africa.
He's black. And I wish Tony was here too, because he could. I would love to hear his whole take on this. It is also hard for black men, gay or straight, to deal with a lot. I'm not saying all of us, but the black community is a very homophobic community.
Oh my God, we are gonna get so many comments.
I'm okay with that because I'm black. I'm here and over here. And it is, and I feel like I had this conversation this past weekend with a couple of friends of mine, straight friends of mine.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's difficult for black men to, number one, accept the fact that they're gay when they're coming out, and number two, to own it after, just realizing that they are. I grew up in South Carolina, and trust me, it is not the easiest thing. Tony grew up in South Carolina. I wish he was here to back me up on this or shed some light on this, because I feel like the African American community is by far, the Latino community is up there with them. These two communities are very homophobic.
They're very heteronormative, yeah.
I like that word.
Thanks, heteronormative.
So, and maybe not necessarily homophobic, but they're not really, like, I knew 0 people that were out growing up in South Carolina. I knew some that were very flamboyant, that never admit to them being gay, and I'm talking like growing up, middle school, high school, and it really is very interesting to me now that some of those same guys are married with kids. So I'm just saying, and they're all black. And for this guy, Brandon, I can see where he was coming from. But again, you're coming on RuPaul's Drag Race to be dressed up as a chick, and it was just very uncomfortable. And, I was watching and I was cringing. I was like, oh.
I think Jocelyn handled it well, though, because where I think there would, if I was in the same situation, I would probably start to shut down and you would notice it.
Right.
Like, there can be levels where you get so uncomfortable that you're like, okay, I don't know what to say, you know?
But I just looked at it as like, okay, you have the pro black basketball player, and then you had this manly, tall, military guy. And again, military is another like straight, man's guy, thing.
Heteronormative.
And thank you. And he was totally cool with it. I mean, he basically had Courtney Act is as close to a woman as you can get.
Yes.
A real woman on the show. And he was very cool. He was, from what we saw, he didn't have any hang-ups. And also Darian Lake's guy. I mean, he's like a goth musician. I mean,
he was clearly him and his wife were fans.
They clearly were fans. And I think it was Ben's guy, who I thought was a little on the side, which that I'm not going to comment what is I thought he was on the gay side. But again, these are all those white guys. I'm going to put a race on it. They didn't have a problem with it. And it just so happens that the only guy that really had a problem with it was the black guy.
The reason that it's
I brought in race into this
uncomfortable is because he went from one extreme of being so uncomfortable, and then when you watch Untucked, he goes to the opposite extreme, and he was really defensive, and he was upset, and so it was interesting to watch, but it definitely was uncomfortable. And what I liked is it made Jocelyn seem more relatable because she's hyper feminine, right?
Yes.
But she's so adorable and charming that you kind of like want to protect her, and she becomes your little sister.
Well, there are a few that I've run into, straight guys, that are a little uncomfortable being touched by other guys. They don't like hugging, and and it takes a lot of warming up to. And I think for Jocelyn to for someone to be painting your face, like your face is very
close. You're close to their face.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that could have been added to his whole opening up. But I think for me on the main stage when he had his little breakdown, I wish I would have saw more of it, because I feel like
I think most of it was just vomit.
No, but I think I want to know the reason that he gave for leaving the stage and getting sick. I don't think that was a true reason, because what led into it was a whole the judges asking him. The judges asking him, what do you think about being dressed up in drag? And he was like, oh, I'm just nervous about what other people are gonna say. And then I think Ru or Michelle, they said, ask him who is judging you. And he said, no one here, but my teammates, and they kind of laughed it off. And you can tell his expression, the way it was cut, the editing. He felt a little like, it was almost
hit.
And it was almost that fight or flight kind of thing. And he flew. It was just
That must have been building up though. He must have been nervous the whole time.
But then, and again, that we don't know what the food schedule was like that day when they were shooting, because apparently
when Willem came in, he said that because this did actually remind me of the whole Willem thing, and I was like, they have a bucket this time, they're ready for barf. When Willem came in, he was saying that the reason he ended up throwing up was because of the food schedule. It was like he just ate, and then they were doing runway, and he was like, I was like shoveling food into my mouth and then going on a runway.
And I'm sure that can add to nerves. I mean, if I've only been on one reality set, and it's not as easy as it looks on TV. I mean, I'm sure those guys are standing under those hot lights for hours. They do their little walk, they're standing there, they get critiqued, and then they have to do all these other shots and takes. And if these guys haven't been, used to standing in heels and in these hot dresses and blah, 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 I can see where it can be, consuming. But I think a lot had to do with the fact that, I'm doing this now, what's going to happen later when everyone sees this? And so that was a long time talking about that.
I know.
So what do we think about the dresses? Starting with Jocelyn.
Oh, of their dresses?
Yeah. Well, no, the brides. We
the
can talk
brides'
about both.
Dresses?
I didn't think Jocelyn's dress was that. Okay, Jocelyn's dress wasn't the best. Her daughter's dress wasn't the worst. I don't think it was the worst. It was just his
No,
makeup.
it wasn't the worst. But I think it was. Dobby had a good point saying that it was ill-fitting.
Please make your comment. She said it. Not me. She said it.
Dobby. We've called him Dobby
I know.
before.
Some people didn't like it.
Everybody loves Dobby.
Not everyone.
I love Dobby. And Santino. So Santino said it was ill-fitting, and it was. I mean, the corset wasn't fitting him correctly. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, that's the only problem I had with it.
All right. I thought the dress overall was not that bad.
Yeah. I thought Courtney's was the worst, though. Wait, my favorite comment. Okay, so Cam, we heard your favorite comment of the night. Mine is Courtney is putting her bride in a bath muumuu. I lost my crap.
That was my least favorite. It was Courtney.
Really? I didn't like Darian's drag.
I didn't mind it.
The golf.
I
couldn't see it. It was all, it wasn't. I didn't see the details.
I didn't mind it as much as the bath muumuu. The bath muumuu bothered me the most because it was so like. And then who is it? Adore said that you're. Who did they compare it to? Oh my gosh.
Mahogany.
Honey mahogany. Yeah, honey mahogany. Which was true. It was a calf can.
But then she came back and said, "Well, you look like honey hog body." What is a hog body? Is it because she's fat in the middle? Is that what it is? Like fat right here? Is that a hog body?
I
was touching his stomach.
They just kept running with it. They're like, hog body.
I felt bad for Adore because she was okay. She was already freaking out because she didn't know, sewing challenge. Hello, she's not going to win that.
And her person was definitely being very opinionated as to what he should look like, which I thought was interesting.
Annoying.
Yeah.
I will say, Courtney Axe guy looked good out of drag. That's my type, by the way. Anyway, what were we saying?
Nothing.
Adore's dress.
What were you saying?
I don't know.
I liked Adore's dress, but I liked her dress.
The one she wore?
Yes! This is going to be me. I'm going to consistently like what Adore wears. I don't know. I like that. I like that kind of like funky punk vibe.
That wig was jacked. That dress was jacked. Everything was jacked.
Okay, let's go this route. Who was your favorite dress? Adore?
I think Adore was my favorite dress, yeah.
Kenny?
What show are you watching? Are we watching what?
I like that dress. I would wear that dress.
Why?
I like it.
Jackie, we agree on a lot of things, but this is not one of them.
I
thought that was the worst.
I would also wear Adore's opening dress, the first dress that she ever wore on Drag Race.
Oh my God. Okay. So my favorite dress, I actually like Ben de la Creme's dress because it looked motherly. She has the matriarch thing down to a T.
Yes, she fit the role, and her queen looked like her.
And I liked the daughter's dress. Mm-hmm. I think Bianca's daughter's dress was the best.
It was well made.
I didn't really like. Of course, she's a seamstress. Yeah. So no surprise there. What was your favorite?
Nothing.
Okay.
As a whole, I liked Bianca and her drag daughter.
I liked Bianca. I like Ben's walk too.
Yes.
That was cute.
It adds a little.
Although Adore, who said that? Adore called her own person Chucky.
Bride of Chucky.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he looked like. He was busted. The two of them collectively were busted.
Adore looks so cute, and then she was like, "Yeah, Bride of Chucky, whatever." I was like, "Oh,
party."
More like chaos.
And Bianca made a friend today.
Oh,
I like that her comment. I actually made a friend today.
It was really cute because you got a sense that they were cutting and they were conversing, and it was like they were working together as a team, and it seemed like and this guy was from Holland, so he was very open and very. Bianca got lucky with the guy that he got or that she got, and she did the makeup. She's a pro. And when she in the beginning when they were trying to get an idea of what they were going for, you can tell Bianca knew exactly what she was talking about as far as makeup. You want highlights or whatever she was saying in the beginning. Like you get a sense that overall Bianca has no fear. I don't think she fears any of her competitors. I think she knows that she's good and she's top notch.
She also I know she also in that there's not a she makes jokes, but she doesn't take down her competitors. It's like she cracks jokes about everybody and nobody's left spared, but she will help people out. Like she was helping Adore try and build her dress, and I've noticed that before. She'll pop in and try and help out. That's how confident she feels in herself.
She's always prepared. And I think when she rips, it's not as offensive as everybody, I think we all wanted her to be. Mm-hmm. I think we all expected her to be really offensive and like, oh, we're going to get tired of it. Mm-hmm. What she does is she takes a semblance of truth that this person has given her and then she rides with it. Mm-hmm. I can't knock that. Can't knock it. I have to say that she's favorite.
Good.
Damn it.
She's not mean-spirited, and that's the thing. It's
even
like
She could be.
She can
That's
be.
what I love, and I think she knows that because she's done so well with watching her words, they're realizing that she is that calculated, and if she wanted to, she could shred them apart.
Because when Santino was like, I like the dress and all, but I wish I had a train, instead of saying, popping off out the mouth, she said, he's got to deal with heels and eyelashes and balls up his ass. What else? I thought I'd save him.
That was a great comment.
And seeing it's just, and it made everyone laugh.
Yes.
It was just,
because it was true. You're right. There was an element of truth to it.
And instead of a lot, if he were to say that to somebody else, they would have been like, well, or not say. And this is why I kind of like Adore too, because had those comments towards Trinity, who's no longer in the competition, she would have made excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Adore just stood there and shook her head. She didn't say, well, I don't sew and
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And,
Right.
she just, stood there and she
Right.
held it all in. And
Right.
then, I think that's a better way of handling that
I do too.
situation.
I do
Instead
too.
of, Laganjo's another one.
Well, you got to take the notes. That's the thing. It's like you either have to have something really, really clever to come back with, or you just sit there and take the notes. Because it's like they just want to know that you're taking whatever notes in your head to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Well, also briefly, Adore's mom's video.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was cute. Adore's
I thought it was
mom's
cute.
super cute.
Straight up chola. Love it.
So
She
cute.
is. I liked it. I like this. Okay, I'm sorry. I had a brain fart because I was thinking of something else. Totally something else. I do like Adore's mother. I thought that was a great little video. And again, I wonder if when they're doing the show, and they're collecting, if I'm on the show, you're my brother or whatever, does everyone get a video, and then just so happens that if you stay long enough in the competition, that video airs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
wonder about that.
Eh.
The other thing I wondered
touching
about
your
too
penis,
was
sorry.
this.
That's yours.
Adore seemed, for this episode, particularly shaken going into this challenge. And so I thought it was interesting because, when Laganja was having a rattling episode, then she gets her video. And I'm like, how did they match this up where Adore is having a particularly, challenging episode, challenging day? She's already, having times where she's really, you can tell she's visibly frustrated. And then they show the video with her mom, and it's just causes her to lose
I think
it.
a lot of producer research,
Dick in the soup.
because they know she can't sew, and I'm sure that's common knowledge amongst everyone involved in the show. So
And I'm sure throughout filming, the producers were taking note, okay, she's about to break. Let's
Yeah.
put it in the box.
Yeah.
Put it in the box, mommy.
yeah,
And I thought it was interesting when you compare this to what we're talking about
we're not allowed to say pink box.
about Jocelyn's guy feeling uncomfortable. Then you have the mom saying to Adore that she had told him to dress more masculine for the American Idol challenge, worried not worried about what other people would think. And I just find that an interesting juxtaposition of the. Go ahead.
No, you want to say something? Because I want to throw in that I feel like I think we've had this conversation personally, because I feel though that kids nowadays are coming out at a young age, and I know that when he was auditioning for that show, he was 15 or 16. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I can see where his mom wanted to protect him, not from himself,
No.
but from
mean people. Yes.
Exactly. And at that young age, I can see where I truly believe in kids doing, expressing themselves the way they want to, but at the same time, I feel like the mom was kind of right, and his mom was right, and, kind of butch it down a little bit or butch it up a little bit and, kind of protect him.
I wouldn't say butch it up, but I'm going to say that there's a time and place for the extra shenanigans. The whole point is you're there to showcase your talent. If you're a singer, you're going to sing. We don't need the affectations or what that may be. I understand what the mom was saying. I've had this conversation with family members as well because, I don't lie about it. I was effeminate when I was growing up. Surprise!
Really?
But I had an uncle who berated me in public, and it wasn't, now looking back, I understand it wasn't about his shame for me. It was more so his concern for my safety when he or my family members weren't around, because there was a high level of violence against gay or possibly gay or homosexual men or anybody in our community. So
don't whisper. We can't hear you as is.
I get the protection aspect, but again, she was also very supportive and said, go back and be you.
Yeah, which was great. Real quick, so we had Bianca won the challenge, and she got a trip to Hawaii, which was great.
I felt. Did anyone else feel like they were saving up all of their challenges to pay for the double Hawaii challenge?
I think so.
They were like paperclip bubblegum, Hawaii.
But she turns to. I can't remember who she turned to. Whoever was standing.
Untucked, she said it.
Yes.
She turned to on the main stage. She turned to whoever was next to her in Untucked, but she was on the main stage. She said,
Lake.
"You didn't you win
Florida.
I'm glad I got Hawaii. You got Florida, didn't you? I'd rather go to Hawaii." And it was nice that Ru gave the winning couple a honeymoon, kind of a honeymoon trip to Hawaii. And then, so she won. I actually thought she was my favorite, I guess. But I did like Bianca's daughter's dress.
Yeah.
I thought as a whole, together, I thought Ben and his daughter.
I thought they did really well too.
So it was like definitely 1 and 2. So they were safe. And then we found a door, rightfully so, on the bottom, along with our little baby, Jocelyn. And the
Miss Congeniality.
She will win, Miss Congeniality. And I think, and I know I didn't say that word right because I'm going to go back and watch this tomorrow. I'm like, oh, God, didn't I? Whatever. So the song choice for last night for Lip Sync for Your Life was Think by Aretha Franklin, which I think Adore killed it.
Yeah, Adore did kill it.
And this is one of those things where
Cameron's giving wonky eye. What's happening?
Yeah. No.
She flailed. I mean, it was doing too much.
Loved it.
I loved it too.
The thing that saved her was the doing too much because Jocelyn, I'm sorry, girl.
She didn't do
your words, your mouthing of the words was horrible.
Horrible. And I have to say that I think Adore was absolutely the worst in the challenge, but her lip sync saved her from elimination.
For sure.
Whereas last week, I think she was the worst, and I think she lost the lip sync to Trinity. But she didn't go home anyway.
I wish that they had double eliminated. That's my honest opinion. I wish they had
Jackie doesn't want anybody to go home.
Nobody goes home.
They're playing the outro, so there you have it. That's the end of our show. I think we got everything. We got everything.
Yeah.
Where can we find you, Jackie?
Again, at 123Jackie_B on Twitter, at 123JackieB on Instagram, all one word.
Cameron.
Tamakava 777.
Kenny. Bam. That's where you can find me.
The iTunes listeners have no idea where to find him.
Well, they should go to YouTube and they can find me there. And I will say
it says KC. It says KAYSEEH25.
It's my initials.
Steve can read.
K. That's for K.
Surprisingly.
C, which is C, and then H. There you have it. And Tony, he's not here. You can find him
at Lounging with Tony on all platforms.
That's it. Thank you for watching. You want to play the video for Cam so he can so he can smile again while we run the credits?
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Drag you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.